Hello, just thought I'd do a follow-up video as promised from this morning. I've had loads of really positive feedback. I've had messages, phone calls, and I'm really pleased to see that I'm helping loads of people, and everything that I'm doing and trying to help people is being received positively. I have had some negative feedback though, which is entirely fine and within your belief system and what you think is right, saying that I'm advocating breaking the law. I'm going to tell you a nice, interesting story. The law regarding coronavirus and coronavirus Mark 2, so to speak, for a lockdown, was supposed to come in at midnight on Wednesday. Okay, it's going to come in at midnight on Wednesday. So I've been checking the legislation all the way through. I was looking at the guidance, see, the thing is, the guidance isn't law. It only becomes law when it's passed as law. And as I said on, I think, LBC and Talk Radio, it's got to be ratified in the House of Commons and the House of Lords to be deemed as law. And I think there's some statute in Parliament that in emergency measures you're allowed to do that. So I would be on dicey ground if I did get arrested regarding and saying that it's not been ratified, and therefore that's my legal defence. I'd be on very dicey ground regarding that. However, when the police officers, when I opened up on Thursday, I checked again, there was no law. When I opened up on Thursday morning, no law. Checked on Thursday evening, no law. The police officers, the two first police officers that came on my first video, they came to issue me guidance. And I asked them, is this a criminal offence? And their answer was no. Their answer was no, because it was not a criminal offence, it was a civil issue. Later on the second video, with the 4 police officers and the two ladies from Wigan Council, we had a very lengthy conversation, and she said it would be a civil matter, and we had a long, protracted argument. And at that point again, there was no law. One of the things that I said is, if I stole your phone, I'm no legal expert, but it would be because I've stolen your property, I've done harm, physical harm, I've injured your person and by stealing, and therefore in the 1968 Theft Act, I would be arrested for stealing your phone. 1958 Theft Act, Section 5. It's actually Section 1, I've found it since. Thanks for that as well, my mate. But it's Section 1, not Section 5. So, people who are saying, oh, you were breaking the law. I can't believe you're breaking the law. I was not breaking the law. When I opened up on Friday morning, again, Thursday night, I'm checking it, all the way through. Thursday morning, checking it, and it's still not law. I'm checking it. I open up on Friday evening, do a tiny tie class, checked it, and it's still not been law. So there are people going out and trying to enforce things. The police who've arrested people, they were arresting people because they were refusing to give their information. Let me just tell you something. When you get arrested for an offence, yeah, if it's a serious offence, they're going to take you into custody. And rightly so, because the world's full of criminals and we need the police. For a minor offence, like the ones that have been stipulated and that you've seen for not going to the gym and gyms not opening, what happens when you get issued? See, you're going to get fined. You're not going to get fined. The police can't fine you. The council cannot fine you. The only body in the world that can fine you, or anybody in the UK that can fine you, is a court. So what happens is that you get what's called a conditional offer. So you send the remittance, and on there you have 3 options. You have option number 1, pay the fine, £200 fine, £1,000 fine, £10,000 fine. Oh my God, it's a fine, but it's just a fine. Okay, you don't have to pay that fine. So you can either pay it and move on, or B, you can choose not to pay it and take it and offer a legal defence. Now, well, and the third option would be, is option C, is that, your option B is you plead not guilty, and you fight your case, and then you get found not guilty by the judge. The other option, option C, the third one, is that you plead not guilty and the judge finds you guilty. Okay, and then you pay the fine, or in some instances, judges can not issue a fine and say, well, there's no penalty to pay, and for whatever reason. So, on those occasions, as I've mentioned, people were getting issued with fine or getting arrested because they were refusing to cooperate with the police. At no point in this should people be demonstrating, being argumentative. If the police ask you for your name so that they can issue a fixed penalty notice, give it them. Give it them. All they're doing is taking your details, that's all, and you will be issued with a fixed penalty notice. There's nothing the matter with that, and you can pay that at your leisure if you want to, or, which I'm possibly suggesting, is you take that to court. The documents that came in regarding the law change came in at 5:35 on Friday. 5:35. So I was midway through my tiny tie class. Junior class came in. So according to the law, the juniors, they were fine. So the juniors class, the one that's on my videos, I did a couple of videos. I was a little bit taunting to the police actually, because I wanted them to come in. I wanted to deal with it that night. And they came in, so the junior class that went ahead was actually not breaking the law. They backdated it and put it onto midnight, at midnight on the Wednesday, but it wasn't actually available for the police to use. So if you was to get arrested and you could say to police, on what section, what act am I being arrested on? And they would say, section this of blah, 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 blah. But that wasn't available. So at no point was I breaking the law. Now, my friend who's been advising me over the last day, really, he said he's never known that. He's never known that there has been a law in place, but it's never been in place. We were told it was going to be in place. We were told it was going to be in place. So what does that suggest? It suggests that the government are very aware of what's going on. And I'm not just saying me. I'm not responsible for anything. The public are responsible because the public's display of, I want to go to the gym. And until you can demonstrate some actual proof that gyms are an actual threat, I want to go to the gym. And in the previous videos, I've talked about hygiene standards. I've talked about you can go to Bazzy's Pizza Shop with a 0 food hygiene rating. That's fine. But you can't go to a gym which is going to help your physical, mental and social well-being. So I think the whole government thing and the fact that they're being aware of this is really important. It also makes you aware as well that when the police were arresting all the gym owners in Liverpool, the independent gym owners, that was really important because they were like, tier 3 lockdown, gyms aren't open. And then with a massive amount of police presence in gyms and the massive amount of public support through crowdfunding, the government changed their mind. So the government are flexible. The government will bow to what's peer pressure. Public pressure, and we are putting pressure on the government to stay open. Now, they've done a fabulous thing. They've allowed us to stay open conditionally. Now, that condition is that you offer junior classes or you have elite fighters, not fighters, but elite sports people, or you are offering specific things which are in the regulations. I will post a copy of the regulations for you to look underneath this as well. Okay? But it's really important. They're paying attention to what we want. Now, we've had a mini victory here. We've had a mini victory that there is a small group of people who are allowed to continue. But that's not good enough for me. Exercise is for everybody. What about the mum who's suffering postnatal depression and she wants to go to the spin class because she just wants to get out of the house for the kids? What about the retired man who wants to go and play golf with his friend who are socially distancing and outside, but he can't because we're in lockdown? What about the young children who can go and train in my gym but can't go and play football outside for the local football team and take part in structured training sessions? That's not fair. What about the alcoholic who, instead of trying to crack open a tin, he's fighting in it with every urge that he's got not to do that, and instead he wants to go and do a weight session? I'm saying this is unfair. I'm saying exercise is for everybody, and we've got to share this. We've got to bring this to the public domain, the public attention, and let the government change the law to allow everybody to take part in exercise.